There's been another mass shooting in the U.S. Surprise, surprise. Do not worry. The podcast. Crazy. Speaking of crazy Americans, folks, another mass shooting in a high school. I think, as far as I understand, it's the 83rd mass shooting in a school this year in 2024 in the States. 83rd mass shooting. Like, I'm not even going to look into the reasons. We all know the reason. Every country has crazy people. The common denominator in all those shootings in the States is that guns are available everywhere. There's way too many guns, okay? Here's the shooter. She's a lady. Oh, my God. You know what I mean? Her name is what? Natalie?
Woman in male-dominated fields.
You know, that breaking the glass ceiling, folks. Breaking that glass ceiling. Natalie Rupnow is her name. So here she is with her dog. I mean, looks like a normal young girl. She was like 15 years old.
She's 15, yeah.
She's 15. Here's another photo of her. And that's the name of the school, Abundant Life Christian School. And here she is just a few months ago, apparently, at a shooting range, practicing with her shotgun to murder all these people. Let's just watch a quick news report about the shooting quickly.
This morning, a heartbroken community searching for answers after a teacher and student were killed in a shooting at Abundant Life Christian School.
The shooting happened inside a classroom in a study hall of students from mixed grades.
Overnight, police identifying the shooter as 15-year-old Natalie Rupnow, who went by Samantha.
She was a student at the school, and evidence suggests she died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Investigators searching her home Monday. Authorities say a second grader at the school called 911 for help.
And let that soak in for a minute. A second grade student called 911.
So the trauma.
At 10:57 a.m.
They trained them for this.
Yeah.
To report a shooting at school.
EMS can come in, shooter is down.
A teenager and a teacher were killed. 6 others were hurt, including 2 students with life-threatening injuries.
Damn.
Police crediting a team of medics on a training exercise nearby with aiding in the response. Anxious parents rushing to the school to pick up their children.
If your kids are at school, they are not okay. If they are at church, they are not okay. Well, where are they going to be safe?
And students processing the tragedy.
What are your classmates like? What are your teachers like?
They're crying, some are scared. Yeah, hugging each other.
As authorities work to identify a motive and examine the shooter's social media, also interviewing her father for hours.
The parents are fully cooperating.
They better be.
We have no reason to believe that they have committed a crime.
President Biden saying in a statement the FBI is assisting the investigation, writing it is unacceptable that we are unable to protect our children from this scourge of gun violence.
He's still around, or he's still awake?
The attack comes less than 2 weeks after 2
say
kindergarten
this shit every
students were shot at Seventh-day Adventist School in Northern California.
Our pain and our hurt.
Last night at a vigil for the Madison victims, families joining in prayer in an effort to make sense of another senseless tragedy.
And according to an analysis from Everytown for Gun Safety, there were at least 200 shooting incidents on school grounds this year alone.
What?
Police say in this
I guess not mass shootings.
handgun was used, and they're still working
Hold on, only
to
2
figure
died.
out
Is that a
how
mass
the
shooting?
suspect was
What's a
able to
mass
get
shooting?
access.
I think there's got to be more than one victim, basically, is a
Okay.
mass shooting. Anything maybe more than 1 or 2 or 3, there's a minimum number for it to qualify as a mass shooting. So yeah, 83 mass shootings, school shootings in 2024. And I don't know what he's 200 gun incidents just in the year. I don't know, bro. It's fucking crazy. Look, I mean, you guys might find it weird. We live in Lebanon. We were just talking. Our country was just lived through a war for 2 months. We're getting literally bombed. So this is a country that could seem and can be defined as unsafe. When a lot of Americans try to visit the Middle East or Lebanon, your embassies might warn you against coming here because it's dangerous for tourists and visitors. Honestly, I feel safer in Lebanon than I ever do in the States. And that might sound weird. And I've been through some shit here that would not make you feel safe. You know what I mean? If something bad happens to you here, you're kind of on your own. You're not going to have any police trying to help you or investigations. No criminal is almost ever going to get caught here. But I feel like crime, not that it happens less, different kind of crime.
I feel safe here.
I feel pretty safe.
I feel safe here.
No one gets shot in schools. You know what I mean? A school will get bombed by Israelis. That'll happen.
Yeah.
Israelis will blow up schools and kill kids. But you don't have Lebanese people walking into schools shooting up people. There's a lot of guns in Lebanon. A lot of people buy guns illegally. A lot of people are armed, but we don't have that gun culture of just going places and shooting people. Again, it's happened. There have been clubs that have been shot up by politicians or their security guards. petty beef, people in traffic jams, someone will bust out a gun and shoot someone and just like drive off. It happens, okay? This is kind of a jungle. And with the economic collapse in the last year and everything, the security situation has gotten worse because people have gotten more desperate. There has been more crime. More cars have been are getting stolen and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so it does happen. But like mass shootings don't happen here. And again, I'm comparing Lebanon, a dangerous Middle Eastern country that has been destabilized by so many different countries. So comparing us to the States, the greatest country in the world, is kind of unfair. But like, I'm just trying to, this is the experience that I have living here. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's completely different. And churches get shot up in the States. Like when my parents were in a mall last year, they thought there was a mass shooting because like a lamp fell in one of the stores and everyone started running and like stampeding out of the mall thinking there was a shooting, and people started hiding in stores. My parents went into like a dressing room of like a store. It was fucking terrifying, bro, and everyone thought they were gonna die. Turns out a lamp fell from the fucking ceiling. So and yeah, they make kids go through all these school shooter drills. Here's a video that we can watch of like what these kids are going through in schools.
The city of Parkland, Florida, is holding a moment of silence today to remember the victims of the mass shooting at Marjory Douglas High School. It was 2 years ago today that a gunman opened fire, killing 17 people. Now, active shooter drills are conducted at nearly every American public school. Vladimir Duthier is here with how the nation's two largest teachers' unions want to change the way these drills are carried out. Vlad, good morning. So what do they want to change?
That's right, Tony. The National Education Association, the American Federation of Teachers, and the gun safety advocacy group Everytown released a report this week calling for an end to drills that surprise students and the use of firearms and actors as victims to demonstrate possible active shooters in America's schools.
They'll have people like they spray them with blood.
It's a little nerve-wracking and pretty scary.
Unannounced active shooter drills happen at least twice a year at the Neptune, New Jersey high school where Charlize Kepler is a freshman.
Thank you.
We met up with Charlize and her mom, Beth, at their local coffee shop. A lot of schools are conducting these active shooter drills, sadly. How do you feel about them?
I feel sad that they're necessary, but as a parent...
The NEA wants to end drills where weapons
traumatic, bro.
Actors play roles as victims, sometimes covered with fake blood.
One of the things we know is not helpful is to have an active, realistic
Crazy, got like guns shooting people.
Can frighten, terrorize, traumatize the big people and the little people.
So yeah, this is what kids have to go through essentially in school in the States because like Americans are too cowardly to change the gun laws, and they'll blame video games, violent video games. Like they want to arm the teachers. Let's arm the teachers. We need more cops on school campuses, more guns. You know what I mean? People need to have access to more guns because the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. That's a line they fucking love. Yeah. Good guys with guns. You know what? Like I always imagine like a shootout between like a math teacher and like a fucking mass shooter in a classroom. Like, get down, kids! And they're fucking shooting each other. And like, is that what you want? Just ban fucking like semi-automatic rifles or something. Just make it a little harder. How about background checks? Can we just make sure the guy buying the gun isn't fucking insane? Like, we're fucking, bro, we live in a country that gets bombed every other day. Why are we telling you how to like use guns and stuff? Like, what? Like, am I crazy?
Because that would infringe on their Second Amendment rights, Anthony. You don't get it. America's a free country.
The right to bear arms.
The right to bear arms is more sacred than life.
And again, when the Second Amendment was like written, weapons were very different. You had like muskets and shit, bro. It took like 15 minutes to like reload between every shot. Like now, like people are just buying fucking drones, bro, and like it's fucking crazy. It's just insane, and they're so stubborn. I remember like in 2009, bro, when I was like in college, I had a debate with this guy called Woody. Fucking of all names, and he's a fucking Air Force. Real name? He's a fucking Air Force pilot now. His name was fucking Woody.
Fuck you, Woody.
He used to always defend like the Second Amendment, like people should have the right to bear arms and shit. And like, another argument he made was like the army shouldn't have gay people because it would distract the straight soldiers because the gay people would try to fuck them all the time. Like that's what he thought. That's the level of like intellectual debating I was having with Woody on campus. So I mean, yeah. I don't know, bro. And like, honestly, it's hard. I mean, obviously, I feel bad for the victims, but it's hard to, like, when you do the same thing over and over and over again, it's just like insanity. Like, what? If you don't want to change the laws, yeah, you're going to have a mass shooting every other day. Like, I've lost track of the shootings. And they do the same thing. They have a vigil. And then let's walk around and let's remember. And then the parents will go to, like, City Hall and, like, they'll cry and they'll complain. Like, let's try to change the law. And then the Republicans will be like, no, and the NRA. And then more AR-15s will get sold. Like, anytime after a shooting, people buy more guns because they think that the law is going to change and they're going to ban guns. So there's more guns in circulation. I forgot like how many guns there are for every person in the States.
A lot. Way more guns than people.
There are more guns than people in the U.S., bro.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. So,
and like school shooting are such a uniquely American problem. I have no idea where it came from, what those Columbine kids did, why this has sparked. It's just such a weird thing because like mass shootings happen everywhere in the world. Obviously not as much as in the U.S., but like school shootings specifically, that's just an American problem, and nobody knows why. What the fuck is going on there?
I mean, to be fair, in some countries, there's like a lot of mass stabbings. Like in the UK, you can't have guns, so there's way more stabbings. But it's probably better to get stabbed than shot. It's much harder
I'd
to
rather
kill.
be stabbed.
It's much. I mean, I personally maybe would rather get shot, but like in the arm or something, knives really scare me. But like, it's so much harder to kill a group of 20 people with a knife than with a fucking rifle or AR-15, bro, that are designed to kill as many people as quickly as possible.
You have to be truly insane to start like knifing at people.
And it's fucking insane that we need to have two Arabs sit here and tell Americans, you know, not to kill themselves with guns when we're the ones made out to look like fucking savages on the news. When you guys can't even send your kids to school without fearing for their fucking lives, bro. It's fucking crazy.
You didn't go to school in the U.S., right? Just college?
No, just college, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't like have a family in the U.S. It's way too scary. I'm being 100% honest. Like I would not.
It's not safe.
It's not safe. Wallah.
Do not worry. The podcast